welcome back to Winter is Coming Live, the official Game of Thrones after show of winteriscoming.net, brought to you by Entertainment Weekly. My name is Adam Rady, or how you will see me referred to in the comments, the idiot with the beard.
Aww.
To my left is Alison Haislip, who will be referred to in the comments as the really hot girl.
The girl, or slash the only girl.
Or the only girl. To my right is Xavier Brinkman, who goes by the screen name Sleepless in Seattle Lover 37.
Really?
So welcome back to Winter is Coming Live. Of course, we are talking Game of Thrones, Season 5, Episode 9.
The best episode yet!
That's the actual title of
Sorry,
it.
I was confused by all that intro, and now I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. Hello, let's do this.
What's
Thanks,
the actual?
Adam.
What's the
you
actual
confuse
title?
me every week.
What's the actual title? Dance with Dragons.
Oh,
That's the actual title. Use the hashtag WIC to write in your comments, questions, concerns. I'm going to guess they're going to have to do with, I don't know, children burning and dragons. That's kind of my guess.
A lot of fire.
Yep.
But that's the qualifier. So let's start, though, with talking about convenient timing.
Yes.
Where Arya is walking along and she's like, hey, I'm totally going to poison this guy. Oh, wait, here's somebody I know and want to kill. Meryn Trant.
Yes, I know. And then she just totally, forgets about the Thin Man.
Yeah.
And she had her perfect opportunity right there.
I got to say the ninja training was pretty weak.
Yeah.
Like when all's said and done, first and foremost, I'm pretty sure Meryn Trant saw her, like, multiple times.
Yeah.
But he couldn't place her.
Yeah,
Because let's remember, there has been a significant amount of time passed. She is an older girl now.
Okay, so Alison's take on this is he couldn't place her.
I believe so,
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like she was familiar, but yeah, he wasn't quite getting there, and he would sort of be like, it's familiar. And
I
then
feel
look
like
back.
I think you guys are right, because if he would have strictly identified her, he would have been like, yeah, I'm going to grab her now. Because she's just a little girl.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
which I apparently like a lot.
Yeah, oh my gosh, can we talk about, this season of Game of Thrones is not nice to young women.
Yeah.
Women
man.
in general.
Yeah, but especially like the young ones are getting it. The sentence that was about to come out of my mouth was so inappropriate.
What was that line?
It's a tough time for young women in Westeros right now.
So was this just like an additional, like, now he's really a bad guy? Like,
Yeah, it was like,
let's just add to
because you sort of forgot about him a little bit until like you had to remind yourself what was it? Why did she want him dead? And I think Sorry?
It doesn't matter why she wants him dead now, because he's a terrible human
being. Well, now
being.
we know he's a pedophile. But okay, so obviously it's setting it up for next week. So Arya is, I'm assuming she's going to be that young girl for the next night. That he requested a younger girl for tomorrow night, and Arya is going to somehow be that younger girl. Is Arya too young to sort of play this part? I think yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that she... that's a great call, first off.
Yeah.
So bravo to Xavier, first off.
Yeah, nice job.
Secondly, I don't think there is too young for Meryn Trant. I think we were led to believe by every...
It'll be very interesting, because we've never seen Arya in any sort of, like, womanly way.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Arya has to come out with no clothes on or something, like, is that weird?
Oh,
I think
that's so weird.
We've known Arya as a little girl, and I vote yes. That's weird, and
if you know what's kind of actually weird about it being weird is that we've seen her do so many adult things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's killed people.
Yeah.
She's been on her own. She's taking care of business like an adult. But she is.
Sexuality
Here's
isn't
the
one
other
of them.
thing. Do we think she's going to actually get her chance? Because I feel like the faceless man knows that she lied to him.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like there could be something stepping in.
Yeah.
To stop what she's
the reason
about
I said
to do.
is because it was the last thing she heard. He turned away and said, "You'll have a young girl for me tomorrow night." And then the lady went, yes, and then Arya hears that and then gets taken away. So it was like, to me, it was like, I feel like something's gonna happen there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great call.
Yep.
That's also a great call, because she specifically goes back and she lies to Jaqen H'ghar, the nameless man, the man who has no name. But I was wondering if he caught it or not, because he's so good that we wouldn't know if he caught it.
Right, I'm assuming he did, because he is so good.
Yeah.
I instantly side on the he knows all as opposed to he knows.
and even that way,
nothing.
he gave her a suspicious look over his shoulder. Like, I think they hinted towards it. Did you say?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if she goes for this, will Jaqen? So I guess this question's to both of you. Will Jaqen let it happen? Because will he feel like she put herself in that danger? And kind of the follow-up to that question is, let's say she pulls it off or she doesn't, he lets her, he doesn't let her, whatever the answer to that first part is, will she be allowed to stick around with the faceless man?
That's what I was thinking. He might let it happen and then say, you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
know?
I feel like she just needs to be honest, and like she could even get his help. But
Right.
you know, that's what I think.
But also,
honesty is the best policy, Aria.
I think this was really interesting because I feel like it's the first time, at least that I can think of in the entire show, where we've seen Arya make a decision that might not necessarily be the better decision. Like,
Yeah.
she's had to make a lot of really tough decisions,
Yeah.
but you're always kind of on her side. And this is one where I was like, take care of the dude you're supposed to kill first, then
Yeah.
worry about that. And
Yeah.
she, like, bypassed her duties and now is getting wrapped up into something that's kind of selfish in a way.
And it would be just easy to actually fulfill her duties, too. It's
Right.
like, oh, poison it. Yep, all right, did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
For sure.
That was easy.
Take care of business.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to give a shout out to the fans out there, the other fans, because again, we are obviously fans of the show, just the same as you. But to all the commenters out there, you guys have done a really great job filling us in on things that we may have missed, or just agreeing with us. That's always nice. Or disagreeing with us and continuing the dialogue. But one thing that I wanted to call out was a few people really commented on the many-faced God last episode, and I thought that there were some really great comments about him, the many-faced God being death. He is death, and death is
Right.
owed a debt. And I just thought it was really very well worded in the comments. So please go back, check out the comments, and continue to comment because you guys are doing such a
Because
great
we
job.
listen.
Hats off.
Yes, because we do
We
listen.
actually
Yeah.
listen.
And some of us can read.
Huh.
Some of us can-
Like, was that a segue?
like.
Davros? Or no?
Davos.
Davos?
He's going to come up later in the
Oh,
episode.
I thought that was a smooth segue into our next topic. Damn.
All right,
man.
let's do it. Let's move.
All right, so
Sorry, continue.
okay, cut and okay, here we
Yeah,
go.
no segue.
So no, but you know what I am going to mention?
All right.
Not really good reading skills, but super good vision. Like 20/20 vision from actually like 20/30 vision from Jon Snow and Alliser Thorne, who are just like, I can see you up there on top of the wall. And he's like, I see yep, we're looking.
They had a moment
eyes
there.
locked from 4,000
To
feet.
be fair, I mean, I'm sure they didn't actually see each other, but Jon Snow knows there's someone up there,
Yeah.
and all the people at the wall know that there's a bunch of wildlings coming back with a bunch of rangers. So if they see this huge group show up and one person in all black steps forward,
Yeah.
I think they made a pretty decent assumption.
Yeah, but it was like you could see a close-up of Jon Snow, then a close-up of Thorne.
Yeah.
So it was like,
There's not actually
no, we're
how
cer-
tall's the
we're certainly
wall?
giving them-
800 feet high or
I
something
don't-
like
it's
that.
tall.
but it was good. I
like
thought
2
I thought it was
stories.
a really good camera effect. Like they created a really tense moment. Like you saw Alison Thorne looking down, going, you know, you're like, what's
You're
he
like,
gonna
what's
do?
he gonna decide?
Jon
Yeah.
Snow is looking like nervous. You know, he's like, damn,
Yeah,
this
I
could
did
be
want
really
to.
bad.
I did want to ask you guys a question though. Do you recall the episode that he left the wall? Did they leave through the wall, or did they just go? Because I didn't remember them being north of the wall.
We didn't see them. We didn't see which direction they
Oh,
left.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you are right, and I think there was some tenseness. I wanted to ask you guys: did you think that he was going to be let in with all the wild? Did you think Alliser was gonna?
I mean, I assumed he would because if he wasn't, I didn't know where it could have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's not like
I
they
agree.
could have attacked the wall or something like that.
I agree.
But it was very interesting once they were let through when, God, I'm terrible with their names. Alistair, what's his name?
Alliser Thorne.
Thorne, yeah. When he was like, you have a good heart, Jon Snow, it's going to get us all killed. Or
Yeah.
something like that. I was like, boom.
Yeah.
Well, I thought
You are right, sir.
we keep seeing the respect between these two.
Yeah.
And
And that was respect. Him holding his word and opening the gates, like that was respect. You know?
Yeah, it was definitely respect. What did you think of the conversation, Xavier, between Sam and John when John's like, it was a failure? And Sam was like, well, not to these people. You
Yeah.
saved him,
Right.
you saved her, you saved him.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Obviously, like I love Sam, and he's right. Like you know, John obviously didn't save the amount of people that he wanted to save, but he did save enough that could have an effect on in the end result with how many people go to the army of the dead.
and more importantly, he saved one giant.
Yeah, he saved one giant who just
In fact,
swam.
he
who
saved
just swam over.
1-1.
Yeah. What?
The name of that giant is 1-1.
Oh, really?
Yep.
He just the
Aw.
giant who just was like, screw this, I'm swimming across. But also, what was more alarming was just seeing Ollie's look.
I know.
The look between like
How many times
Damn
have
it,
we
Ollie.
seen just Ollie throwing shade?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
all
John was just like, oh, bro, little fella, I'm back. Like, want to hang?
Little-
Ollie
Yeah.
was just like, mate.
I was
Don't
like,
even.
you brought
Walked
back
out.
wildlings.
Yeah, and there does seem to be an alarming number of brothers who certainly are giving the Lord Commander a lot of
Flack.
dark looks. And after this episode and the things that we're going to, of course, be talking about in this episode, I'm afraid for John. I'm not going to be afraid to say that. So I'm
If
sure
this
you
was
guys-
any other show,
Be afraid.
if this was any other show besides Game of Thrones, which is known for killing off people we love, I'd be like, there's no way anything's actually going to happen to John. But it's Game of Thrones, so something could totally
Yeah,
happen to John.
he could have his head cut off in the next episode.
Damn
You know what else this episode featured besides obviously giants and 2020 vision and all that cool stuff, and then the other stuff we're gonna get to. Awesome games of Slapface.
Yeah.
That's just a whole bunch of games of.
That's what they do in Dorne.
Yeah, game of Slapface. That was the name of this episode.
Game of Slapface.
Game of Slapface. There was really cool stuff. A lot of moving parts in Dorne, and I think that we've identified a few times this season that this season as a whole was a lot of build-up to move pieces and parts to finally get to them, so that these last 2-3 episodes have been really incredible. I think one topping the next, and I think we're starting to see those things really start to move in Dorne as well. I think that they moved kind of slowly so far, but I think that payoff will come. I don't know if it'll come this season, but I think it's coming, and we saw a lot of really cool stuff. Specifically, Bronn is out, Jaime's out, it looks like.
Yep. Well, I'm really interested that we've now, I feel like, spent a significant amount of time in Dorne, that we know how Dorne works.
Yeah.
And the Dornish people are attracting me more than any other family, besides the Starks, but the Starks are, you know, basically dead or like thrown to the wind. Yeah. But like the people in Dorne, I actually feel like maybe these are the people who have their heads screwed on straight.
Sure.
Obviously not what's her face, the Sand Snake.
Oh, Laria, yeah.
Yeah. But Oberyn, no, not Oberyn. What's his name? Oberyn's brother.
Oh, Doran.
Yeah. He's actually seems like to be a decent leader and to understand the importance of you know, diplomacy and that kind of thing,
in the trailer, yeah, for sure. In the trailer of the for this episode, it actually looked like they made it sort of look like Doran was giving the ultimatum to Jaime, more so like pledge your allegiance or die. So I was really interested, and I realized that when the episode happened, that it was actually to what's her name, Laura.
Alaria.
It you know,
that's what I'm here for, guys.
It was a tricky one. You know, I thought that was interesting anyway.
Yeah.
Well, what I thought was really interesting and very smart was, first off, great job to you guys predicting that Jaime would basically be like, hey, so Bronn was just following orders. Yeah. Why don't you just let him go, because he didn't do anything wrong, and we didn't actually hurt anybody.
Yeah. Punched a prince.
But another,
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Another really good thing though that I liked about Doran was we kind of saw how hard he can be and tough.
Right.
And he made a point where he was like, hey, I'm not going to cut off your head because I can't. Mm-hmm. That'd be bad because, hey, Tommen's my king. Let's drink to him.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so whether he believes that, whether he truly believes that in his heart, and I guess that's kind of a question for you two. Do you think that Duran's really that straightforward, that he's on the Lannister side, or do you think he's maybe got his own game going on?
I don't think he's so much on the Lannister side. I think he just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to take his people into a war.
Right.
Really.
I think he's just being a good leader. I think he's just going back to.
I don't think he likes Tommen at all, but he doesn't want to lead his people into war.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right.
That's a better way to word that. Yeah. Does he have his own game, or is his game just?
Well,
I don't want to go to war?
considering this is Game of Thrones,
What?
I bet he has a game, because there ain't a single character on this show who doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying he might be one of the more legitimate ones.
Sure.
Okay.
You know?
He seems decent. I
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
Like him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we discover that he's going to give Myrcella to Jaime to take back, and
Which was I was so surprised how simple that happened, but
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But Jaime also revealed, he's like, hey, we got a necklace. We got the necklace in the Viper.
Well,
And he
it's
was
not
like,
just that it
"Damn
was
it."
so easy. That's the game that was played, is getting Tristan to go back to
Trystane
to go back to King's Landing and to be on the council.
yeah.
They just got themselves inside the hornet's nets,
Sure.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course the one condition was Slapface, that Ero Hota got to slap Bronn really hard.
You think the prince
that's
would
pretty
have wanted to do it himself, like just being like, cool, hold him, pop.
He's too pretty for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think that's also kind of like, I'm royal. I wouldn't do that. I'd have my big brute dude do it. I wanted to ask one more thing, which is, sorry, I want to look at my notes for this one, which was, do you believe that Ilaria was truthful in when she was crying? And what I mean by that is, obviously she was crying because she didn't want to do it.
Right.
But at the same time, is she going to be faithful? Is she going to actually have her allegiance be with Doran?
Well, I was interested about that as well, mainly because of the scene that happened after that, when she went to go talk to Jaime.
Yeah.
And she admitted, like, I know that, I think she said, I know that Myrcella had nothing to do with Oberyn's death. And she's like, you're probably innocent too. But she had just mentioned Cersei right before that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Ilaria might be like, okay, you two can go free because my beef isn't actually with you guys.
Yeah.
But that woman you really care about, aka your sister, aka I know you're sleeping with her, but I'm not gonna like say anything because people don't like it where you're from. She's in trouble.
I'm not sure she just breathed in that entire
I think
episode.
I'm from Jersey. I have that still.
Yeah.
With regards to what Alison just said about her mentioning Cersei, did you catch that as a threat towards Cersei or a continued threat to Jamie and Marcella? In other words, I know what will hurt them is hurting you guys.
I
So
kind of
Cersei
agree
is
with
hurting
Alison. I think it seemed to me it was more aimed at Cersei.
But the way to hurt Cersei is through Jamie and Marcella.
Probably, yeah.
But that's what I mean. I think she's playing her cards differently now. Like that was her initial instinct, was to hurt Marcella.
Okay.
That's why she wanted to kidnap her in the first place. I think she's rearranging things, so she took this allegiance to Duran.
Duran.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Duran.
Doran.
To Doran.
Yeah.
Dorn.
But she's got to be plotting something else.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, you guys ready to just like shed tears together?
Yeah.
Everybody's ready? Thanks for teaching me how to be a grown-up. Man.
I can't.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah.
There is one thing.
Oh, there's just
Forgive me.
one little thing.
Forgive me.
So many great lines. Whose side would you take?
That poor girl.
When you remember when she was
What?
talking
There's
about
no
the Dance with Dragons?
option in this.
Well, no.
Oh god, yeah.
When you guys were using quotes. I wanted to use another quote. Darn it.
We used up all the
Gosh.
good quotes real quick.
Yeah, gosh, man. No, she's reading from Dance with Dragons.
Yeah.
And first she, of course, reads one story about dragons to Davos.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, about with Baron Swan.
Yeah, the one who tried to use a mirror
Yeah,
shield.
tried to polish his shield and
Yeah.
was just an idiot with a with a mirrored shield.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, I believe, and I'm sure that those commenters out there will correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's about Nymeria and Aegon.
Yeah.
Targaryen, and of course their sort of civil war, but
Right.
to sit the throne. And Stannis asks, well, whose side would you take in this? Because obviously it's a very clear sort of parallel to what's going on in Westeros now with Stannis trying to be king when there's already a king on the throne.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And I just thought, obviously, this whole thing up north was very tough in Stannis' camp. I mean,
Yeah.
let's just say it. Shireen being burned was really
Did
awful.
did anyone think it was actually going to happen? Was like
I until the moment that she actually lit fire to the pyre, I was like, they're not doing this. They're not.
Did anyone think that
doing
Davos
this.
was going to come back and stop things?
Yeah, I thought Stannis would have like a change of heart. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so fascinating to me because I feel like this is the episode, and we've talked about Stannis a lot this season. Oh, sorry, I feel like this is the season where they actually gave Stannis a heart, and you saw who he was, and you cared about him. And I definitely said on this show before that, like, I believe him to be a good leader. He was like proving himself to be a really fantastic.
Sure.
Like, I didn't think he was going to make it to the throne, but he wouldn't have been a bad choice for the throne. And now I'm like, well, never mind. Now get out of here. Like you need to go.
I want to actually answer your question, which is that every single thought went through my head.
Yeah.
In that, every thought where it was like, okay, Stannis is going to stop it. No, okay. Oh, this random guard they kind of keep cutting back to.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
going to stop
Right.
it. Oh, Davos is going to show up. He's going to stop it. Oh, she's not going to burn for some reason because
Yeah.
of magic of some kind.
Grayscale.
Or some, yeah, some, and.
Oh, that would have been brilliant
Yeah.
if the grayscale like made her
But it was
non-flammable.
as I've commented before, and I think that they did this with the Sansa Ramsay scene with Reek. By not showing it and only hearing it, it makes it so much worse because whatever you're imagining in your head is far worse than they could ever show you on screen.
Sure.
I
it
wanted
really-
to vomit.
It's
I really
it's
wanted
funny
to
saying
vomit after that
Stannis
scene.
and his like being like the finest military leader in the realm like would have to resort to using like wizardry and magic almost. I mean he's trusting Melisandre who's just like if you sacrifice your daughter something good will probs happen.
Yeah.
You know
Well, probs.
it'll
happen.
def
He doesn't
happen.
deserve it anymore.
Yeah,
he just
and so
doesn't
he's like,
deserve it
geez, all
anymore.
right, babe, I'll just kill my daughter. Do you promise that what you saw will probably be good for us? She's like, go for it, cuz.
I was.
You know what? I'm just gonna cut you off there real fast because you said he doesn't deserve it, and
No.
I think in a morally sound world he doesn't. But Stannis has always been a man of conviction, and he has held true to his conviction. So if the Lord of Light is going to reward him, whoever this Lord of Light is, and if that's truly what he rewards, then
Right.
Stannis has held true to his path, as he mentioned to Shireen when he was talking to her. He's like, if a man knows who he is and knows that there's no diverging from his path, there's no true choice for him.
Yeah.
Do you think that Stannis purposely sent Davos
Totally.
back to
Absolutely.
to keep him
He's
out
the
of
only
this
one that would
situation.
stop it, for
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think what it was Davos was saying very sound military things, as you mentioned, sort of a military mind that Stannis is. He was mentioning like, hey, we could just fall back, wait for winter to be done, because honestly, any sound military man wouldn't go marching through the snow to try to go lay siege with 6,000 men and basically no horses anymore and very low supplies and yada, 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 and now no supplies because they got burned. I take a breath. I'm not like Alison where I can just get through. Yeah. And so I think that what we saw there was when Stannis looked away and saw Melisandre and Selyse, that was him going to agree to those terms.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think, him telling Davos to leave was...
I'm really not okay with it.
Yeah.
Out of all the stuff that's happened on Game of Thrones, this is the one that like rocked me.
Do you think like, did you hear them talking like Stannis as Shireen was getting burnt? They were saying like, this is our only option. Either we sacrifice her, or winter comes, or we all die. Like, do you feel like that?
I do feel like they felt like it was a life or death situation.
That is some like justification that it's like, all right, either we sacrifice her or we have no hope.
I think that's part of the justification. The other justification, of course, we're going to win, and then we can make the realm a better place. It's for the greater good.
Yeah.
But being part of the greater good, Melisandre smiled when it was happening, and
that's cold.
I was kind of shocked that it was Shireen's mother.
Selyse, that was kind of the last
the
point.
Change of heart as opposed to Stannis.
Yeah, that was the last point I wanted to make and kind of ask was, did you guys buy that? Did you buy that it was Selyse that broke and not Stannis that broke?
It was interesting.
I do solely because Selyse is a mother. I feel like that was the first time we actually saw her motherly instinct kick in, and she couldn't stop it.
Yeah, I think that she's always been someone of conviction, using that word again, but I think that it broke when her daughter went on the line, and I think we see how tough Stannis
and those screams, man.
Yeah, that was rough. It was tough watching. It was tough watching Alison watch that.
I can't. I'm like weepy eyed right now, like just thinking about it. Like it was. That's the thing that rocked my world the most in Game of Thrones, for sure. Good job, creators, on making.
You got us again.
Making me feel this way, but
making the feels.
Wow, that was hard.
But do you know how they redeemed themselves? And let's face it, it's not really redemption, but how they turned that ship around by the end of the episode was Drogon returned.
Dragons.
Yeah, they were like, hey,
you can't have an episode entitled Dance with Dragons if you don't have a freaking dragon in it.
How can we make it up to the people after burning this really joyful, happy little child? How about dragons?
Yeah, let's give them the dragon. They haven't seen that in a few episodes.
Yeah. Let's show him Drogon. So a lot of things, again, happening in this particular scene. And I think the first one that we notice and is brought to our attention is Hizdahr shows up late, and he's like, I was taking care of things.
That's very... Yeah.
And he's not been a trustworthy character this whole time, let's face it.
No.
Yeah,
right?
Well, and Daenerys hasn't trusted him. She keeps identifying him as being part of the Harpies.
Yeah.
He was almost burned. He was in a cell before he suddenly was going to be king by marrying her. Yeah. I mean, like, Hizdahr has always been like, is he trustworthy? Is he not? Is he who he's saying he's be? And I guess maybe we're led to believe he's been honest the whole time.
Because he got stabbed, and unless he got fake stabbed, seems like he was honest, right?
I feel like he's been fake killed. I'm throwing that out there. I really believe, because I don't know why you would have that moment at the beginning of the scene where he's late and she's like, where have you been? And he's like taking care of things. That would not have been acknowledged if there wasn't something for him to take care of, which as soon as the Harpies broke out, I instantly was like, oh, he was setting up everything for the Harpies.
They got him,
but then they kill him? No,
they got him around the neck, and they were like prison shanking him, right?
Right,
so
which makes me feel like...
And then you see him on the ground, and I'm trying to remember if there was blood on the ground, but he had his eyes open.
Definitely there was blood.
Yeah,
well, and also the death wasn't as glorified as most deaths of main characters
It wasn't like a clean cutthroat like they usually do. But didn't Jorah, Jorah's always been trying to redeem himself, and didn't he finally do that with that amazing spear throw?
Oh, I freaked for a moment. Yeah. I was like, he's such a good guy. I was like, for 2 seconds, I was like, he just tried to kill Dany, and then I was like, oh, never mind, totally saved Dany's life. Got it.
Yeah. yeah, absolutely. Lots of stuff going on in this scene with Tyrion, Dario, lots of really cool speeches, but I think the meat and potatoes of it is that Jorah is there, and he wins after being on the ground multiple times. Yeah. I was pretty surprised.
I thought this was going to be the end of Jorah. I honestly believed that we were going to watch him die, and that the point was to watch Dany watch him die.
Yeah, exactly. And then this really great scene where he saves her, all of a sudden looks around and just all these harpies are in the stands.
Yeah.
Dario sees Hizdar make a run for it, so he's like, "Oh, you're totally a bat. Oh, you got stabbed. Okay."
And then
Missandei's gonna get taken, and Tyrion
but
steps
just
up
before
like
that,
Tyrion always
we see
does.
Jorah like hold out his hand to Daenerys, and that I feel like that was a point when she was like, when she grabbed it, I'm like, all right, he's
like,
back in
trust
the good
you.
books. He's about to get killed, but at least he achieved what he wanted to achieve.
Yeah. Will that last? If in the future, will Jorah be in the
I believe
bubble?
there will be a discussion about it.
Yeah.
But I believe it will last.
I think actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
He's done all right.
But you guys, we're not even talking about the coolest part of the episode. She rode a freaking dragon.
She rode a dragon.
She rode a dragon.
She rode the dragon
With perfect hair.
Yes.
with perfect hair.
Perfect
so
hair.
At the start of this, I was like, she just left everyone. But then Alison made a good point. Was like, yeah, because the harpies were after her. So
Yeah.
if she leaves the
If she
stadium,
gets
then the
out-
harpies will be like, all right, well, like, I mean, what are the harpies going to kill the rest of them? Because she just left them there.
But also, we have to remember that watching a human being ride a dragon is not something that anyone in this world has seen for hundreds of years. It's been only fables. So for them to witness this actually happening, it's mind-blowing to these people.
Yeah, and I do think that there was, because, you know, I think a lot of times movies can do that thing where they're like, oh, really, everybody's watching? It's like, yeah, probably everybody would straight up be like, what?
Yeah.
But I thought it was so poignant right at the end that the last shot we see is of the four. It's Tyrion, Jorah, Missandei, and Hottie McDaggerston.
Oh, you mean Lord Adam?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're all looking, but Tyrion's the one who's up front, and Tyrion's the one who's in awe because we know that this partnership is going to be really important in the future.
Sure.
Well, let's just jump right to the fan questions then, because I'm sure people have a lot of comments about this and about, of course, the Shireen scene prior to that.
Okay.
And so to kind of make sure that we end on a good note, we'll start with the Stannis questions from our fans who use the hashtag WIC. This could be you. So use the hashtag WIC.
Yeah, what was your throwdown for?
Good job, guys.
Boom.
Use
Really
that
impressive.
hashtag.
I can't do anything like that.
So we kind of got two of them to start with. The first one is from @NellyJelly, who writes, Stannis needs to die now. He is a greedy man, and will do anything to get what he wants. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't necessarily think that he's greedy. I just think his determination's in the wrong place.
All right.
He's
now,
desperate.
Now
is a
hold
better
on to
word.
now hold on to that, because I want to follow this up with another
another fan question. Great,
that we
let's
can
do
answer.
it.
We can get both
Let's
of them.
do it.
This one is from Casey Lee 3, which she asks, or he says, what if it doesn't work and she doesn't have the king's blood? That's another interesting question. So basically, what are your thoughts on him willing to do anything, and what if he's wrong? What if it just doesn't work?
Well, I could see it. I could see it absolutely not working. I don't believe that she doesn't have the king's blood unless for some reason we find out that she's actually a bastard child.
Sure. Well, let's flip the question around then. What if it doesn't work? With all of his conviction, what do you think about this, Xavier?
It'd be really awkward to start with. It'd be like, ooh, let's kill my daughter. And
I would say the only redeeming fate, the only redeeming fate that Stannis could have at this point is if it doesn't work, he takes his own life. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that would truly show that he is a man, as we've been saying, of his convictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he has to, somehow he believes, and, you know, I think it was Selyse who really kind of wrapped him into it first, and then Melisandre and this Lord of Light thing, and he's really begun to believe his own prophecy or destiny or what have you. So if it doesn't work, I don't think he has anything to live for. I mean, truly, I think...
Well, if it doesn't work, it means that the army will be invaded and they'll probably die. So it's like, I feel like it's desperate times, desperate measures. Like he's really in a hard place right now. Like they can't go back, and at this point they can't even go forward. So it's like he's done the worst thing you could ever do. Yeah. In a state of desperation.
I mean, out of all the people who have died on this damn show, that girl getting burned to death was the worst.
Absolutely.
The absolute worst.
Well, thank you so much for your questions and comments. We're going to go on to a little bit happier or more exciting. Not more exciting, but, you know, whatever you want to say. It's tough.
It's
hard.
dragons.
It's
move
hard.
on.
It's dragons. Move on. So these questions, to start with, come from, the first one's from James Lorimer. @James Lorimer says, so Hizdar wasn't the Harpy? Another book character killed off. And we're going to follow that up with @GBNF for Life, who says, but she left her advisors to die to the Harpies. Also, if Hizdar wasn't the leader of the Harpies, who is? That prostitute? Question mark?
That prostitute.
That's cheeky prostitute.
I like that they asked the same question, or they commented on the same thing you did, that she just left all these people behind. So I think we kind of commented on that.
Yeah, I do agree with Alison that once you kind of get the president away from the danger, you know, that's kind of done.
Why these people aren't going to die to kill Tyrion? They don't even know who Tyrion is at this point.
The eagle has left the nest.
Sure.
Yeah, but Hizdar, that's an interesting one. I'm putting my money down that Hizdar is fake dead.
Okay, fake dead. Xavier.
I mean, Game of Thrones, full of surprises. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna just go with he's innocent, just to throw it over.
I'm gonna maybe side with Xavier, though. I could definitely see Alison being
I just don't understand what that moment of him being late would have been for if it wasn't that. Unless we find out that he sacrificed himself for the greater cause. I don't think he's innocent.
And going back as well, like we say, like will the Sons of the Harpy let them go, the 4? But it's like their eyes were set on Daenerys. But I mean, we have seen them run attacks on like the Unsullied and stuff like that. It hasn't always been just trying to get to Daenerys.
Right.
So who knows? Like I have a.
It's interesting that he would be killed because he is the head of a great family, and we're told that the Sons of the Harpy are in favor of the great families because they are going to enslave all the lesser people. Sure. Or the lesser people, the slaves. I don't know. Are they just different races?
The plebs.
No, they're just slaves, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, great questions. Thanks so much for them using the hashtag WIC for them.
For us.
For the question. For us. For you guys.
Questions are for us.
For all the peoples. Thanks so much for the questions. Use the hashtag WIC throughout the week on Twitter and anywhere else, and hopefully we will see them and get to them throughout the week on our own personal Twitter accounts. Final thoughts, and I want to do something a little different this week, and by I mean you guys came up with these really great ones, so all the credit to you two. But the first one is, what are your predictions?
Well, we only have one episode left.
For the final remaining episode. What are your predictions for the final remaining episode in regards to the Wall, Winterfell, the North in general? Alison.
Okay, in terms of the Wall, I'm thinking we could see Jon Snow die, or we could see him him needing to kill Ollie for some reason, or Sam sacrificing himself for. I think either Jon Snow, Ollie, or Sam are dying at the Wall.
Sure.
In Winterfell, oh my gosh, if Ramsay makes it out of this season, there will be blood. There will be blood. Game
Alison
of Thrones.
will be coming for him.
But Brienne has to come back in somehow.
Absolutely.
Brienne comes back in and tries to save Sansa somehow. That's what I think for Winterfell.
I'm gonna say Brienne kills Ramsay.
Ooh.
Okay.
I mean, she was just brought in, and the we saw a bit of her in the trailer for the next episode. Like they usually bring that in for a reason. I'm gonna say that'd be a really cool way for her to enter back into what's going on. The Night's Watch, I think they're going to the Wildlings and the Night's Watch. God, this is tough. I think they're gonna form an alliance, and it's gonna work out.
Okay, so alliance. All right, here's my prediction.
Far too happy of an ending, Xavier.
The Wall, major death at the Wall. I'm saying it's either going to be Jon Snow, Sam, Tormund, maybe even Gilly, or maybe even Ollie. I don't know. But I think a major death at the Wall. Winterfell, I think Sansa tries to make an escape. I don't know if she's successful or not. I would love to see Reek finally be Theon again. Yeah. But I think that Brienne has like literally been sitting at the starting line like all season. Like, can I go? Can I go?
Yeah.
Can I? So she is like she's cocked and ready to rock. Mm-hmm. Like we got to see her do something.
Yeah.
So those are our predictions. Leave yours in the comments below. Our next predictions go with King's Landing and Dorne.
You go first.
Me? King's Landing. The Cersei Marjorie thing's really crazy. I do think that there's a trial. We've seen some wild trials in the past. Every single one goes to combat rather than just being a trial. Mm-hmm. So I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be a combat trial thing at King's Landing for some reason. I don't think Myrcella gets out of Dorne safely. I just think that something's going to go wrong. I just see that happening. I don't see a happy ending where Bronn, Jaime, and Myrcella and Trystane make it back. Just don't see that happening.
Right.
Xavier.
I'm going to go that Cersei chooses a trial by combat, and that's when the Mountain is going to come back out.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think that's when Frankenmountain, as someone said in the comments.
Frankenmountain.
Yeah, I think that's when Frankenmountain is
the
going to come.
Frankenmountain.
Frankenmountain is going to come out and finally be revealed, and she will be her champion. And then in Marine, I have to.
In Dorne.
Sorry, in Dorne, I have to agree. I think it it was too easy, being like, oh yeah, you can have Marcella back. Like,
Okay, I think King's Landing. I bet Tommen. I'm thinking Tommen finds a way to get Marjorie out of jail and not Cersei, and we finally see where his allegiance lies, and Cersei has this like breaking point.
yeah.
And then in Dorne, I think either we lose Jaime possibly somehow, or we lose the Sand Snake because she tries to take out Jaime.
Ilaria or the Sand Snake?
Ilaria.
Okay,
she is
so
the
Ilaria.
Sand Snake, right?
No, she's
the head Sand Snake.
She's
Sand Snake mistress.
Yeah, the mother.
She's
like
Mama
Sand
Sand
Snake
Snake. She's Mama Sand Snake.
I
I
like
have one
mistress.
other possibility. Also,
Oh, come on, Xavier.
Also, Kevin Lannister could come from Castle Rock.
Kevin Lannister.
Uncle Kev could come from Castle Rock with the armies that he took over from
Oh, right.
Tywin. Because he's been chilling, and he could come through and be like, getting Cersei out.
Right,
getting
well, he
everyone
is in
out.
King's Landing, so maybe he's...
Maybe, I mean,
okay.
like, he took control of the army.
He's got
Uncle
something moving.
Kevin!
Uncle Kev.
He's got some power now. So.
Great,
Yeah.
and again, your comments, questions, concerns, write them below, side, above, wherever the comments go. Finally, Bravos and Marine. Predictions for Bravos and Marine. Rapid
Xavier goes
fire,
first.
Xavier, go.
Come
on, Xavier.
Bravos, all right, I think Arya is going to kill Maren Trant by acting as a prostitute. It's going to be awkward. I think Marine, I think the four are going to get away, and I have no idea where Daenerys is flying to. How about that?
Oh, man.
Alison, go.
Okay, I think in Bravos, Arya is going... I think she kills Maren Trent because there's no way this dude's living after we found out his perversions. But I think it gets her kicked out of the order, whatever that order is called. And she does it with Needle. That's why Needle's been hidden in the rocks.
Boom.
Where are we going to? Marine? Yeah, Dany. Okay, I think she disappears from the city, and then the rest of the storyline there is those people that she's left behind figuring out what to do now.
Sure.
Like they can't find her now that she's flown away on this dragon.
I think dragons fly wherever the crap they want to fly, and I have no idea where that's going to take Daenerys. She's probably going to have to, it's probably going to be like How to Train Your Dragon. She's going to have to actually figure out how to actually do this
I wonder
thing
if it'll take her to where the Valyria? Where the stone men are?
Yeah,
Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
And then for Bravos, I would say that I like the predictions, either one, maybe a combination of the two. Needle with the prostitute game. The prostitute game. But I think that she gets maybe kicked out or whatever you want to call that from the Faceless Men. I don't think it goes well for Arya in that term.
Sure.
Again, leave your questions, comments, concerns, all the things that you guys think about Game of Thrones. Leave them in the comments, questions below, or write us on the Twitters. Thank you so much on behalf of myself, Alison, and Xavier. And unfortunately, we're not going to have Xavier for the finale because he doesn't love you.
Yeah, I'm out of the country next week, so this is the end of the line for me. Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been freaking awesome.
I don't know what we're going to do without your hair.
I can't believe this situation even came up that we get to go and talk about Game of Thrones every Sunday night, but it's been amazing. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, and you're right. Without his hair, it's not going to feel the same. So leave Xavier some love in the comments below. And again, thank you so much on behalf of us. Thank you to FanSided and thestream.tv for making all this awesomeness. Go to EW.com. Go to winteriscoming.net. Write all of your things about Game of Thrones there. And until next week, we'll see you later. Bye.
Cheers.
Woo, one more episode.
One more. There's so much to talk about.